We're here at Amsterdam Whitney Art Gallery in the heart of Chelsea with the owner, Ruthie Tucker. And the work behind us is Neil Kerman. Ruthie, could you tell us a little bit about this artist?
With pleasure. Kristal, first of all, thank you so much for filming Amsterdam Whitney Gallery, located in the heart of Chelsea. It's my pleasure to introduce you to the artwork of Neil Kerman, Master Abstract Expressionist. Neil Kerman is a Brooklyn-based artist renowned for his colorful compositions. Kristal, in his new collection, Neil Kerman has selected the rose red hues of the cornucopic Thanksgiving season. And he expresses his visceral emotions towards the seasons, for the stratosphere, towards the weather, with very non-objective art that is a new visual language to convey and illustrate his feelings about the universe. Neil is a master colorist, and we delight in his spectrum of reds and rosy reds and orange reds and brown reds, which really are cornucopic colors of our fall season. And we are thrilled, and thank you, beautiful Kristal and Billy, for filming Amsterdam Whitney Gallery and allowing us to introduce to all of our Chelsea and New York viewers the masterful art of Neil Kerman, Abstract Expressionist. Thank you.
It is so colorful. My camera doesn't even do it justice. And also, we were talking before. We have these
sticks.
The sticks. Yeah, tell the audience about these sticks, because that's very interesting.
The collectors love Neil Kerman sticks due to the fact that they create multiple exhibitions. As one can see by Kristal, they can be placed vertically. They can be placed on parallel levels. They could be placed flanking an exhibition as bookends. People sometimes like to place them on the floor to create an homage to the art world. And so from three, one begets many. So they're very, very popular, and Neil has coordinated them with reds and coppers and hues of crimson and vermilion, and they're very thrilling and I think very powerful to the eye, with a lot of vibrant holiday energy. So we're delighted. I hope you all enjoy the work of Neil Kerman, and thank you again for the beautiful Kristal for gracing our gallery. We love you, darling. God bless you.
And with us is Lorri all the way from California.
Yes.
Welcome to New York. And I see some music behind me, some very bright, beautiful paintings. Could you just elaborate on your subject matter?
Yes. Well, it all started when I was 3, and my folks took me to the Disneyland parade, and all of a sudden here comes Louis Armstrong, and he was playing his trumpet, and so he set his trumpet down, and he saw me, and he threw me a kiss, and I just feel like it was magic, because ever since then, I've just loved music. I started playing piano right away, and then clarinet and flute, and now I paint music. And this is called Curator's Choice, and of course, I love the piano because that's what I started playing first. I also owned an art gallery for 20 years. I don't have that anymore. I'm painting full time, but so a lot of times there's paintings within my paintings. And so there's a heart up on the wall because I love what I do.
Oh, my last name's Hart, so I
Yes,
love that also.
yes.
Now behind us, and I see some champagne, like some glasses here.
Yes. Well, I'm from originally up by Chico, California, but Sonoma County, the wine country, so a lot of wine comes into my work, and now I'm in the Central Coast wine country. And another fun thing about my work is there's always a hidden heart in it. You'll like that too.
I like that also.
Yeah, so if you look hard, there's a little hidden heart because I love music and love to paint.
And then we have here.
Well, I've been to New York. This is my 11th trip here. I'm so excited. And I always carry a sketchbook with me. And so I've done a lot of sketches of the skyline. And so that ended up in this painting called The View.
And then your last painting.
It's called The Bubble Room. My girlfriend turned 50 and had a special birthday party. And as soon as you came in, they greeted you at the Bubble Room. And it was filled with balloons and the best champagnes. And I thought it'd be fun for the reception this evening.
Well, wonderful, colorful work, and welcome to New York.
Thank you. Very excited and honored to be here.
With us is Matt Gable. We're here at Amsterdam Whitney Art Gallery.
These are collages that I make, and I create them by pieces of paper that I paint separately, and I have them in a swath around me when I'm working, and I cut them out to work like a puzzle. So they're not actually laying on top of each other, they're flush next to each other. Start off with a blank canvas and let the image or the concept just create itself as I work.
And this one right here behind me now.
That's called The Entertainers. Again, started with a blank canvas, just start laying down imagery until abstract shapes become an image, and I add things and manipulate it until I get a final image.
And the one behind us is called?
Renaissance Gone. For me, people say, what's your inspiration? For me, the inspiration is the invention process, where you're just starting off with a blank canvas and all of a sudden, wow, I've found what I want to make, you know? That's the exciting part. And then the task of making it is also exciting, but I generally don't have a concept before I start.
And now there's two other ones.
Yes, I have Stars and Stripes over here, and The Violinist.
And then how long have you been involved with?
Well, this particular technique I've been working on for the past 2 to 3 years. At night, working at a part-time, and have recently been working full-time on it for about 6 months. These paintings here have probably taken me about a half a year from start to finish, because what I do is I start up by making a library of paper, so I have it at almost like a palette of paint. I always have it ready to go. Sketches, colors, swatches, and things of that nature. So a lot of time goes into
it looks very detailed.
Yeah.
It looks very time consuming.
It is, but it's a labor of love, absolutely.
And it's wonderful to look at from this side.
Thank you.
With us is Paul Kentz. Welcome, Paul. We're at Amsterdam Whitney Art Gallery. And I see a lot of reds and real colorful, almost getting ready for the holiday type scenes. Could you tell us about this exposition?
Well, like I said to Ruthie, I say what I do is I do the theater of the street. And if you see, most of these scenes are outdoors. You want to talk about one by one?
Yes, certainly.
Yes. Okay, Wall Street. This one. In a theater, you also have drama, and as you see with this picture, you see how serious everybody is. They're going to work. They have their game face on. And the way the stock market has been, must be doing all right.
Well, it's been doing pretty good recently, so their game face should be sort of happy. So then we move on.
Yes, this is 52nd and 5th Avenue. That's a place they cut here. And I just want to show the joy of Christmas. As you can see, the ladies there, they're smiling, they're giggling, and that's the way it is in Midtown Manhattan at Christmas time.
At Christmas time. Oh, right here.
Yes, this is these two ladies. They were passing out flyers advertising the Rockettes. And if you see in the lower right-hand corner is my hand. As I approached them, they said, 2 for you. They gave me two of the brochures.
And the Rockettes is always a great show to see it during the holidays.
Yes. And what's special about these two girls, they weren't just passing them out like other girls. They were doing like a little ta-ta, doing a little dance that, as you can see, the ladies there. Real New York. And we have a summer scene here. This is a Bastille Day. It was actually Bastille Day activities. It was on a Sunday, the 15th, not the 14th. And I happened to get a can performer in there.
And then that very last one.
Yes, that's a Thanksgiving parade. It's actually before the parade kicks off. And the balloon you see there is the Angry Birds red. And I wanted to contrast the happy balloon handlers with the angry face, as you can see. He's angry in red.
With us is Michael Schaffer, all the way from California. Welcome to New York.
Thank you very much.
And the work behind me, very colorful. Tell me a little bit about your philosophy on painting.
Well, my philosophy dates back to the time of the Impressionists and the Expressionists and people like Munch and Picasso and so forth. And I've developed an idea that color makes reactions, and reactions are what I'm looking for from my viewers, because I want to leave an impression of how they feel about life and coming around to thinking of that it's pretty and it's beautiful.
Well, it is beautiful, colorful work. Now tell me a little bit, this first painting over here to our right. Yes.
That one is, well, I was doing some abstract work, and I sort of came across the idea of lips, but I didn't want to make them too representational. So I added the red and added the yellow, but basically it was a spontaneous kind of, little bit of a Pollock kind of approach. So that was what I call a little bit of a modified action painting.
And your color scheme?
Well, of course, the green against the blue and the red, that's always very dramatic, and the yellow inside. But I just wanted to have the impression of an explosion of sorts, an explosion of colors.
Now right behind us. Now this is a little different here.
Yeah, this one is real multimedia. It has metals. For example, there are copper plating there, and there actually is a metal doorknob at the top, and it has acrylics and oils, and also it's all covered by a nice resin that gives it that kind of a glow to it.
It does have a beautiful glow.
Yeah, and this actually came from a dream of a spaceship landing on the water and releasing a probe, so the doorknobs are the probe going out into space. Isn't that fun?
That is fun. That's very creative. Then we move on to...
The one over there is called Suit Head with Exploding Thoughts. And, businessmen do come up with a lot of creative thinking, but they're, usually in their uniforms of suits and such. So I wanted to express the idea of a businessman and the excitement he has about his thinking. So again, it has metal doorknobs. They're actually at the top of that are copper elbow pipes, and of course the copper plating. And so I was really concentrating on trying to be spontaneous about how I portrayed that, and contrast of colors so that the head was the focal point.
And then we have two smaller ones, and they're just a little bit...
Yeah, those are both abstract, and they were more or less experiments with different kinds of mixed media. The top one, smaller one, has acrylic and acrylic inks on the left, and on the right is acrylics and oil, liquid oil. And so that became a very nice effect. And I kind of split the canvas in two, so they had two different distinct looks to them. And the bottom one was where I took a very light wash of acrylic and overlaid it with the liquid oils. And it developed into a very nice pattern, and I kind of went with it. I moved it along, but I really believe in the organic nature of paint, in doing what it's going to do, but sort of helping it along to where it goes.
With us is Cora Cronemeyer. Welcome. And Cora, tell me a little bit about this exposition.
Well, the painting just behind you is my conception of the goddess. I believe in God and goddess.
The goddess?
I believe that the God and goddess created the world in the way the scientists say the world was created. I think, though, I think that if a skyscraper can't be created without an overall plan, neither can a still more complicated entity, such as this planet we live on.
Then
They're constantly experimenting, first with giant reptiles, and then with mammals, and then finally with human beings.
Now, the second painting?
The second painting is of the most delicious beverage anyone ever tasted. I did based on a sketch I did once when I was thirsty.
And what drink was that?
Well, it could be anything that anyone's taste calls for. If you like liquor, it could be some kind of liquor that you especially like, a rum drink maybe with sangria. Or if you're a teetotaler like myself, it could be simply a delicious fruit beverage.
Then the next one looks a little medical in its own way, but
Yes. Well, that's. I once went to a new moon circle celebration in which we worship goddesses, and a friend of Deborah Roth had brought her 2 pet snakes, and she gradually got us used to the idea of the snakes being there. And I decided to portray those 2 snakes in a way that would appeal to most people instead of scaring them. And what came to my mind immediately was the ancient Roman symbol of the physician, a caduceus.
then following?
I had read about in the papers about this mass shooting at the Parkland High School in Florida, and I was impressed that the young people at that school took action. And so I was thinking about them when I did this painting.
With this Madeleine Schachter. Madeleine, welcome.
Thank you.
All this wonderful work, and it looks like different mixed media, a few things. Tell me first of all about your philosophy on painting and art.
So my work is abstract, but it's meant to evoke something happy, a sense of serenity and tranquility, or a sense of enchantment. So the idea is that art is supposed to uplift and empower. I work in mixed media, ranging from acrylics, some watercolors sometimes, metal leaf, and actually I also work in mascara.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Now this first one I see, it is very tranquil with the pinks and very calming.
So this is called Obey to Dawn, and the idea is that feeling of promise and excitement that you feel in the morning when you wake up and see the pastels of a dawn, and that sense that comes over you that it's a new day with new opportunities and new promise.
It actually is very calming.
Yes.
I feel calm.
That's the idea.
And now we have the mirrors.
The mirror this one is reflections of a cloud waltz, and the idea is when you look up at the sky and you see sort of the clouds dancing and enjoying one another. And this one here is amity, so the colors are blending with a sense of friendship and community.
And is it difficult to get the paint and everything on the mirror?
It adheres, but to me it's part of the fun. It's sort of, it's just sort of the enjoyment that you can sort of experiment and see how it goes and try to make it the way you want.
And then the last
And the last one is called Dusk Descends. So that idea of that calming feeling you have when the day is concluding, and there's the sense of peace and tranquility that comes from dusk coming upon you.
Do you take any yoga or anything with meditation?
It's funny
or?
because I don't sort of, I do other things, but I don't really practice yoga, but it's sort of the art is meant to evoke that sense of, just sort of that sigh that comes upon you.
All the way from Brazil, Drea Vernazza, welcome to New York and Amsterdam Whitney Art Gallery. Now, you have 3 paintings here.
Yes, actually 4. I have one more on the other side.
Okay, so we'll also take a look at that. Okay, so tell me first of all a little bit about your paintings.
Well, The last phase is more colorful. I used to do more landscape, but this one is like a more colorful and more about the image with expression, human, and women expression related to the nature and the environment. And as you can see,
Well, this first one here, I see a woman.
yes. So this one is in Venice, and the woman with the mask, and she's on the related to the gondola and the architecture in Venice. So it's all the emotions in Italy.
And this is a body. It looks like
Yes. So this one is actually this painting is made all in dripping. There is no brush. Everything is dripping. So the brush doesn't really touch the canvas. It's all like dripping. And on the side is the gold is just to value the human body, giving the expression of the beauty of the forms. And
then we have some lips.
the lips is fun. It's like a poppy. It's pop. It's fun. It's very festive, and just like the name says, delish. It's very delicious. It's a fun painting.
And the last painting, tell me about that.
Memories and Race is very deep, nostalgic painting. That there's a woman image, and she's thinking about the man, and you can see the shadow of the man around her.
Just tell me a little bit about your inspiration.
It's very emotional. It's very it's really it's the paint like what I'm doing, what I'm living, the way I feel. It's really the time, exactly the time and the way I feel. It's not really. I wouldn't categorize anything exactly. It's really the moment. Yes, yeah, yes.
Well, welcome
Thank
to
you.
New York.
Thank you.
All the way from Sweden, Gunilla Klemendz, and this is a wonderful sculpture. So, tell me a little bit about it. It's very colorful.
Yes.
Tell me about your inspiration.
It's the color from the southern part of Sweden, where I come from, called Skåne, and it's supposed to show how wonderful the nature is, and it gives you happiness, and it gives you also a calmness and a healing. Yeah. This is confused, this person, and this is giving you a poker face. You don't know what it is. And this person is thinking, and this is looking very nice and calm. And this is a funny face. So you can choose and turn it around in what mood you are when you look at it.
That's clever.
This is a sculpture where I used to be taller. This is a queen of water lily, and it have two functions. It's a sculpture, and you see the water lily queen, she has something with her. She is thinking of somebody there. But she can also take her away, and then you can just put a flower or something inside her, and you can do like this and think she is somewhere else. But she's supposed to be here and remind you also of the nature and the water. And it's alive. It's a soul in the water as well. Yeah. This one is called a chameleon. It's a person who floats, go to the nature and want to be a part of the nature, and just relax and find being together and get all the strengths from the nature and all the calmness and all the mindfulness. Then you can get from there and you disappear like a mindfulness, I think.
Allow me to introduce and welcome the California artist Patrick Dennis. And Patrick has these magnificent abstract landscape works that are in the tradition of the English artist John Turner. And it's particularly poignant with the fires that are now in California, that the artists are the eyes and the ears of the world, and they preserve for eternity our environment encapsulated on canvas so that we can always remember, honor our environment, honor the ecology, and rejoice in the beauty of our landscape. And we have to think of California with all these fires. Allow me to introduce Patrick Dennis, and Patrick will explain his art to you. Thank you, Kristal.
These are oils on canvas, but I'm an abstract landscape painter, so I always start with a real place and then take out all the details so that it becomes somewhat ambiguous. But sometimes elements do tend to stay in, whether I want them there or not. And in this case, our fires have been kind of an overarching theme, and they show up in paintings, so it's kind of a mindful thing about that.
And where was, what landscape was this of?
In the Central Coast, really literally halfway between Los Angeles and San Francisco is a community they call it the Central Coast, but it's where Cambria is, and it sounds like what it really is, perfection. It's close to Hearst Castle, but it's on the ocean, which is great, and that's where this area is. And they're all a bit different.
Yes, this one right here.
Again, it's another scene from our local area that I've taken out all the details, so it really can become anywhere, and I wanted the viewer to be able to use their imagination.
And the same with this other one
This is I used some structures here, but yes, I like the idea of kind of having that soft and hard contrast, and I know that sounds a little artsy, but in this case, I wanted structures that are being taken over by nature. Because I paint landscapes, but I don't want it to be literal. I want to always feel that balance of preserving our landscape and then knowing it's here before us and it's going to be here after us. So that kind of push and pull is important to me.
And we're saying goodnight here at Amsterdam Whitney Art Gallery. Owner, Ruthie?
Thank you, gorgeous Kristal. Thank you, the Chelsea art community. Happy Thanksgiving. God bless and be well.
Ruthie Tucker, and your
Thank
name?
you.
Gunilla Klemendz, thank you very much.
Lorri Mole.
Michael Schaffer.
Drea Vernazza.
Madeleine Schachter.
Paul Kentz.
Cora Cronemeyer.
Patrick Dennis.
Matt Gable.
And we're saying goodnight, everybody. Say goodnight from Amsterdam Whitney Art Gallery. Good night.